Hey everyone, we are back and as mediocre as ever for season 43. I slacked the first week, so you have a jam-packed full week of war. First war of the season, I had Apoc, Cable, and Rintrah. Let's just jump right in. First fight of the season is going to be against Kate on path 8. Kate is a global defender, and she can be pretty annoying to fight, but Apoc doesn't care because the biggest thing that's annoying about Kate is if you hit her while she's stunned, she can do her evade counterattack thingamajigger. Apoc doesn't care about that because she can't shrug the stun debuff. So it's just Apoc in war, which is get the special 2, throw special 2, and they, pretty much die. And if they don't die, the fun thing is you just throw another one and then they die. So good first fight of the season. Apoc just rinses through that Kate. And on to the next one. So second fight of this war is going to be against Spidey Supreme on the Hazard Shift Node 26. So I'll also be using Apoc because Apoc doesn't care about anything in this game. So with Apoc against Spidey Supreme, you want to just parry heavy, really. Which is really what I do for most of my Apoc fights anyway, just to put the bleeds on and make sure I have a bleed on for it. So I'm parry heavy, and I'll do some light attacks as well. But here I parry heavy into the special 2. You can see the good thing about Spidey Supreme is he has like 7 health overall. So I don't really care there. I thought that I reparried. I didn't, so it could have went a lot worse. But the heavy lands, and I throw the other special 2, and that's it for Spider-Man Supreme. So 2 fights down to the season. Already had our first big mess up, but we survived. I'm on path 7 for section 2, again using Apoc here against this Nick Fury. So this node has the protection node where you have to knock them down or you do like no damage. Good news here is I picked up bleed immunity on the Spider-Man Supreme fight, so if I do slip up, I at least won't get bled out, which is nice. But with Fury, with Apoc, you really just want to do what you do in all of the Apoc fights, which is get the special 2. With this fight, the big thing is you just don't want to throw the special 2 while his protection is up, because if the protection is up, then you do significantly less damage, and then you don't get as much power back, and it's just a whole big thing you don't want to deal with. So here I'm just trying to bait out his special 2. With Nick Fury, you want to push him to special 2 as much as you can, because the special 1 is pretty annoying and gives him his tack charges. So with the special 2, it's much more easy to evade. And here I throw the special 2, and it does a good amount of damage there, breaks LMD. So now I can just kind of wait out his LMD. It looks like a max sig. I didn't check the sig on the Fury before going in, but it looks like a max sig Fury. So you can see the LMD's ticking down slowly but surely. He threw the 1 special 1, so now he's at 9 tack charges. If he throws another special 1, he'll go unblockable, and I don't feel like dealing with that. So I actually got pushed up to my special 3, which is kind of rare. You don't see Apoc special 3 very often from me unless the power back kind of shoots me up to it. You can see it does a good amount of damage, and it permanently pauses the concussion and degen debuffs that were on him. So here, he's below the 30%, so I throw this special 2 just to make sure. I think the combo would have done it as well, but the special 2 is more than enough, and there goes Nick Fury. So next fight for me is going to be Rintrah against Sersi. So this is a tricky fight because of the make a stand. So I'll start by saying I did not fight this as well as I would have liked. So I think I was overly concerned with, getting parried like I did right there. No, in all seriousness, I think I was overly concerned with the protection. The big thing with Rintrah is you want to play in the corner. You want to push them into the corner. You push them into the corner, and then you can get rooted, and then you can do a whole bunch of damage and the ruptures. And, Rintrah has a really, really, really high damage potential if you play him right. You play him like a normal champ, and his damage is lacking a little bit. So with this, here now I've backed up into my corner. I let her get her glancing because the neutralize fell off, and now I'm up to special 3. So it's not going particularly well. This node does have one eye open, so that's why I'm trying not to hit her while she's stunned that often. I'm trying just to bait heavies. And if I'm baiting heavies while the neutralize is on, then she's not getting the glance, and then she's a lot easier to deal with. So you can see the special 3 still does a decent amount of damage, and more importantly, the special 3 puts her in the corner, but I let her pretty much almost get out of it. So I do get rooted, but that, which is good. And then I was like, hey, cool, you can hit me, but the root fell, and then I get hit by the heavy. So it's not going the best here. So, I'm still ahead in the health race, just barely. Rintrah's a monster in terms of health. I mean, so this is a rank 4 Rintrah, and my rank 4 Rintrah has as much health as my rank 5 Apoc, which is wild because you know how much I talk about Apoc having like a gigantic health pool. So one rank lower Rintrah has the same amount of health, which is just absolutely insane to me. So I got a lot of health to work with here. You can see, I mean, a good Rintrah player, this fight has been over for like a minute at this point. But I'm playing a little too passive, and like I said, I'm playing a little too much concerned about the protection. I think if I were to redo this again, after talking to some better Rintrah players than me, I would not worry about protection until I got into the corner, and then heavy once I'm rooted, and then put on a whole bunch of ruptures, get up to a special 2, and then from there, I'll be able to do a lot more damage. You can see, when I'm rooted, when I'm hitting light attacks, you can see now I'm up to 23 ruptures, which is pretty significant. And here I throw the special 2, but my missile charges fall off, but it's still more than enough to finish off Sersi. So a dicey fight. Got hit 10 times and took a whole bunch of block damage, but Rintrah just, he was fine. So last fight of war number 1 is going back to Apoc. This will be Spot on Conflictor. So Spot is, I've taken Spot with Apoc a few times, and obviously I've taken the Conflictor node more times than I can count. Big thing with Spot is you just want to keep an eye on his spots. So you can see he's at 4 right now. He can't go untouchable in the middle of specials. So you can see there he's at 5. So the next time I go to hit him, now he's at 6. The next time I go to hit him right here, actually I think the concussion failed it. So right there he goes untouchable. He starts hitting me. So now I just need to kind of wait out the untouchable, which I do. And then I can go back to parry, heavy, parry, light, medium, parry, special 2, do massive amounts of damage, and do Apoc things. So here we are, just kind of waiting here for the special 2 for Spot. I'm not going to try to worry about dexing anything or getting fancy here. My Apoc has plenty of health to deal with, so I'm not worried at all about any of this. Here I'm kind of slow comboing there. I didn't give him his 5th spot, so I can safely do the full combo, and that special 2 is more than enough to KO Spot. So that will do it for War 1. I'll go through all 3 wars together at the end, so we're just going to jump right into War 2. War 2 is going to be Spider-Man 2099 for most of the fights. Anti-Venom is there for the synergy, and then Mole Man gets 1 fight. So here we are jumping into War 2. So I'm on path 2 to start. And then I will have this Dr. Doom. So Dr. Doom with Spider-Man 2099 is not too terrible to deal with. The other great thing about this node, so anyone who knows me or has watched any of my Spider-Man 2099 fights, they know that I have a hard time keeping the Wither on. I definitely have the Wither fall off more than any other Spider-Man 2099 player probably ever. The great thing about this node here is every 6 seconds it tries to put a buff on me, which automatically pauses the Wither, so it's literally impossible to lose the Wither on this node, which is very nice for me. So it's just a matter of hitting his block. I'm not really too concerned about, the aura or anything like that. I don't care about him throwing special ones. But you can see here, just get him up, trying to get up to that last little bit of health, and he is gone. So easy Doom fight. Next fight is going to be ManThing on node 20. So ManThing can be a little tricky here because of the increased regen and personal space regen, but Spider-Man 2099, pretty good for it. You can see he's getting a power gain. So this node, every time somebody's immune to something, he gets a power gain. So, but with Spider-Man 2099, with the Wither, and then with the exhaustion that I put on, I'm actually reversing that power gain, so I don't care if it's on him. And actually, I use it to my advantage because I can drain him all the way down to 0 and kind of put him all the way, above a bar, over a bar, and really have the ruptures stack pretty quickly. This is another node where I'm getting buffs put on me a whole bunch from both the node and from ManThing trying to. So another node where it's pretty easy to not lose the Wither. Here I'm just waiting for the power drain to drain him down to 0, and then the Rupture Burst, and he dies. So easy fight, easy section 1. We are on to section 2 with one of the more fun fights in this entire video. So this is Photon. Photon is brand new. I think she'd been out for like 24 hours when this war happened, so she's brand new. This is a buffet node, so obviously Spider-Man 2099, very good for that. The big thing with this fight is don't hit her block, don't lose the Wither, and she'll just die. Like, if you just don't mess up here, it'll be fine. So I'm just trying to do exactly that. I'm just blocking the special one. Her special one can be unblockable and undexable if she's in like the light mode, and she's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. She's brand new. I knew a rough estimation of what was going on as I was fighting her, as I'm kind of doing this commentary back. I don't know off the top of my head. I know that when you hit her, you get debuffs on you, and debuffs on you give her light energy, and when she gets to, I think, 10, when she throws a special, she does it. But you can see here, my Wither's starting to fall off, and there it goes. So the first 47% of this fight was pretty good. Now we're going to have a very interesting time to try to get back up to special 2. So the good thing about the 0 hit strategy is it's really effective, and you don't need specials if you do it right. The bad thing is you don't get any power. So now I'm very far away from a special 2, and I need to kind of battle to get to it. You can see I have an invulnerability boost on because it's a brand new champ, and her animations are weird and all that stuff. So I'm trying not to, so I put the invulnerability boost on just in case I slipped up like I did there. The other thing about Photon is you don't want to parry her, because if you stun her, then she can, basically, you can miss her, which nobody wants to deal with. So now she's in her pure light form, and I remember something about, one of the other battle group officers I have, Andy, he basically said, hey, when she's in pure light form, just don't let her throw a special. So thankfully, she didn't throw her special while she was there. You don't want Photon to ever throw a special 2. Just stick to special 1. You can block that last hit if you parry it. One important thing here is if this was a dupe Photon, I die. I mean, I would not be able to recover from letting the Wither fall off if this was a dupe Photon, because the dupe Photon has increased, your block proficiency goes down per her sig, so it would have been really, really bad if this was a dupe Photon. Thankfully, in a weird way, it was a 7-star Photon, so she did not have the dupe, and I was able to bring it back. So, not as great a fight as could be, but was able to get it done. So you can see I'm also on path 2 here for the next, for section 2. This is Rintrah. So Rintrah with Spider-Man 2099, there's not really much to say. Just kind of hit his block a whole bunch and watch him die. So you can see here he throws a whole bunch of heavies right in a row, which is kind of fun. This is the first node on Path 2, Section 2. So if I knock him down, I get a Fury buff put on me. Obviously, Spider-Man buff immune, so knock him down is a way to also pause the debuffs. You can see here the Rupture is doing some pretty solid work. I do have Dexterity still on, so with Spider-Man 2099, you don't need Dexterity because he has it naturally. But with the Wither and the Exhaustions, if he does get the Power Gain buff, it's not a huge deal because then the Power Gain just gets reversed. But it is pretty safe. It's probably safer to take Dexterity off with Spider-Man 29 against Rintrah, but it ended up not hurting me there. So next fight for me is going to be the fight where I brought Mole Man is for this Quicksilver on EMP mod. Mole Man is shock immune, and he is a hard counter to Quicksilver. So he is arguably the best counter to Quicksilver because he has the true accuracy where you can't evade him, so I can hit him while he's stunned, I can intercept him, not a big deal either way. And then when he's above 10, I can do this, go unstoppable, go in frenzy mode, and Quicksilver can't he can't evade on guaranteed critical hits. So it doesn't matter what mode you're in with what's his face, Mole Man. You're able to counter Quicksilver pretty well. So here, it took a while for him to throw his special 2, so I do actually let Frenzy run out because he didn't throw any heavies or anything because he put his special 2 pretty high up there. Here I throw the special 2. I do have skill boosts on because, why not? I never use skill boosts. So that special 2 didn't get a whole bunch of damage of power back because it wasn't in Frenzy. But Frenzy's cooldown has fallen off. So now the next blocked hit I take that's not a parry, I'll be able to go back into Frenzy and end this fight. So took a little longer than it probably should have. This is a rank 3 low sig Mole Man, so but you can see there he perfectly counters Quicksilver, so nothing to worry about. Next fight for me is going to be my last fight in War 2. It's going to be this Dragon Man on Node 49. So this fight is basically, if I let the Wither fall off, I die. I mean, there's no coming back from it in this one because it's the Hazard Shift node. So if the Wither falls off, I lose my entire damage dealing ability. So here you can see, the Wither's already over halfway, and now it's, about a quarter way, and I'm like, what is happening here? And then I kind of had an epiphany right there where I was like, wait a second. Why do I keep hitting 4 times into his block and wasting all that time where it could be paused? If I'm at 20 ruptures and they're paused, why am I still trying to put more ruptures on? So I kind of, on the fly, honestly, made a little bit of an adjustment here because I knew, the Wither's at 25% of its duration left. So if I let this, if I let the pause run out here, I'm going to lose the Wither and I'm going to die. So I make this adjustment where I don't hit his block as much. I mean, I'm still kind of keeping him in the corner, trying to control spacing and doing all that, but I'm just hitting him a couple times, backing off, and just kind of baiting him into running at me and making sure that I'm waiting that extra hair of a second before I dex. That's one of the big things that I have an issue with is I normally dash back too early and it's before the dex window. So I just have to make sure that I dex at the right time. So you can see, the Wither timer has gone down a little bit, but I am doing a pretty good job of keeping it up, better than I have done in quite some time. So here, needed a clutch dex there, got it. I'm just waiting for the power to trickle down to 0 there again. And that's it for Dragon Man. So that was a true 0 fight there. 0 hits received, 0 hits given. But that one felt good, especially after the Photon. So on to War 3. Doom, Torch, and Chavez here. All three of these are going to get some action. So I'm again on path 2. I will be using Torch here for Spidey Supreme. So this node is you don't really want to parry. And with Spidey Supreme, you don't really want to throw a medium. But with Torch, you can because he can't miss when he's above a certain amount of temperature. So I took a bunch of blocked hits to start. So I would be at that temperature. And now I don't have to worry about missing, so I can just kind of play it normal. And like I said before, Spidey's health pool is like 7, so I don't really care. Mystic, like I have an invulnerability boost on in case I push him up to a special 3, but I'm not really too concerned about anything, so I combo there, throw the special 1 just to kind of finish him off, and that's a pretty quick Spidey fight. So next fight is going to be this Elsa. Elsa, I'm going to be using Chavez. So the reason I'm using Chavez is because Elsa is a global defender. So with the global is if you crit, you get a passive prowess, and the more passive prowess they have, the more power they have. So Chavez is one of the more underrated power control champions in the game, especially if they have a passive power gain, because the negative zone, the zone that I have on when you do all 3 hits of the heavy, it can reduce power gain and can eventually reverse it. So you can see, I have 3 negative zones. You can see Elsa's power gain is going down. So that is pretty fun. And Chavez here, so I'm just, I threw the 1 hit heavy into the special 1, so I get the second zone up. So I'm, working up to the special 2. I do 2 hits here into the special 2 to regen and top off, and that's enough to just KO Elsa. So Chavez, really, really strong attacker in this global. But on to the next fight here. That won't be the end of Chavez, but we are going to go back to Human Torch. I'll be flaming on this Doom. I also got a Petrify from an alliance mate, so that was very helpful. So I just have to make sure to, heavy him to keep the Petrify on. Because if he's got the Petrify, then I can just block the special 1, get the temperature up, and that does certainly help a whole bunch. This guy also was not running max limber, which certainly helped because I could get my temperature up and kind of hold the heavy a little longer, which was certainly helpful. But you can see, Torch just absolutely melts through this fight, and that Doom is done before he even knew what happened. So next fight for me, I'm going to be in the middle here in Section 2. I'll be fighting this Baron Zemo on Power Snack and the Power Sting stuff. So Zemo is really annoying to fight if you don't have like a really strong counter. He's also a global defender, so you can see, I crit, so there's the passive power gain. This node also makes his specials unblockable if they have at least 3 of those prowess, so that is something I need to consider. With Zemo, you want to keep him at special 1. So with special 1, it does put a passive disorient on you, but it's way easier to deal with than the special 2. The special 2 is fully dexable, but like 1 slip on it and you're just dead, and you don't want to take any blocked hits on it. So you really want to keep him the special 1, even if it does mean some increased block damage. But here, I'm just trying to keep the negative zones up. I'm trying not to dex that often as well because of the power snack. But at this point, I'm just trying to build up to my special 2. So here I'm going to try to do the 1 hit heavy into the special 2 to get the more damage. I do have Mystic Boost on, so I know that this special 2 will hurt. Even without the full 3 zones. You can see there it does a bunch, and it gets them almost all the way down. Then I just backdraft into another one, and that's it for Zemo. So definitely took some block damage there, but Chavez, very strong option for that fight overall. Next fight here is going to be why I brought Dr. Doom. It is for this Knull. So Knull starts unblockable, so I try to do I know he's going to be unblockable anyway, so I start by going with the whole, light at the beginning, which you can do. I do it in quests all the time because I don't care as much in quests, but I figured I'd give it a shot here in war because I had the invulnerability boost on anyway. And it worked, so, it got me pretty solid in. So here's Knull's special 2. I always mess up the spacing. I dash back too frequently. But you can see, you know, he hit me twice and then the other hit whiffed, so I was able to kind of dash out of it from there. So I'm still full yellow here. And like I said, I have Mystic Boost on, which normally you don't want with Doom, but I knew that it wasn't going to matter too much because one Doom cycle was going to be enough here. And yeah, one special 3 and then a small combo after that. And Doom just wrecks Knull. So last fight of this war and last fight of the video is going to be Rintrah here. So with Rintrah, the only thing you have to worry about here is don't get hit. I do have an invulnerability boost on, so if he gets to special 3, I can tank it as much as I don't want to get a special 3 because that puts me in the corner. But basically, this node is if I get 3 debuffs on me, he then goes unblockable. So I do not want to get hit because then I can get a rupture on me and then he's unblockable the rest of the fight. And my main goal in this fight is parry heavy for most of it, because if I can parry heavy, I can keep his mystical charges in check, and then I don't have to worry about stun immunity and all the other fun Rintrah stuff that Rintrah does. So you can see, you know, I am taking it slow. I used my Flame On earlier, so I can't Flame On here again, but that's okay. You know, you don't need Flame On with Torch. It obviously is a lot better if you can use it, but he's got enough base damage with just his Incinerates that it's okay even if you don't have it. And obviously I can get it if I can get up to a special 3. So here you can see, you know, the first 40% of the fight going pretty well. I'm at special 3, but I'm trying to bait out a special here. I was trying to get him to special 2 so that I could only have to bait out 1. I don't want to throw my special 3 to get him up to, you know, right underneath 3 bars of power. I want to try to keep him at about 2 bars at max, because if I dex while I have the indestructible on, or while I have the neutralize on, he then gets a power gain buff, so I don't want to worry about that. I said indestructible because I was getting hit as I was saying that. But there, finally, he's under 1 bar of power. I throw the special 3. So now I am flamed on. So here, you know, he throws his special, which is nice. It does take up a decent amount of time of my flame on, so wasn't the most efficient flame on ever. But you can see here I have 3 power things on him, but I don't even think he threw a special. I think he just ended up dropping. So clean 3 wars for me, 17 fights total. In the 3 wars, no deaths, and a streak at 22. In terms of the wars itself, we went 1 and 2 in these. The 1 war we lost by 31 seconds, so excruciatingly close. But a good start to the season, especially after such a long break. But hopefully we can get back to winning ways here in week number 2. But that will do it for this one. I know it was a long video. I appreciate you hanging out and watching the whole thing. But yeah, that'll do it for this one. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see everyone soon.